Brittany, welcome to #Mental Health Day.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor.
Brittany, the first thing I want to ask you is, could you tell us about your journey up to this point?
Sure. When I think about my journey when it comes to mental health, I think of the saying, it is never too late to take control of your mental health. I was 22 years old when I had survived a school shooting during my first year of teaching, and it's safe to say a tragedy to that extent, can really change someone's life. I wasn't much older than my own students, and I knew that I needed help. So 6 days after the tragedy, I went to therapy for the first time. I did something called EMDR therapy, and I shared everything with my therapist from the moment I woke up to when I got home, what that tragedy was like, what I was feeling. And when I was done talking, she fixated on one moment that I described, being behind my desk, hiding with my students. And I told her I felt this sun on my back from the window behind me. And she just looked at me and she said, "What did that feel like?" And the first word that came out of my mouth was unbreakable. And I don't know why I said that word. It's not an adjective that we use every single day, but we started to dissect the word a little bit. And to me, the word unbreakable means we actually don't always have to be strong. It is okay to be broken. It is okay to feel shattered. We can put our pieces back together again. And I learned at 22 that, my life was probably going to look a lot different than I thought it was going to be. But over the years, I've been able to piece those little parts of my life back together again, redefine them, find new parts of myself. And, ever since then, mental health has just been a huge part of my life, my why, what I do every day with the Unbreakable organization, and just something that I hope everyone knows that, it's never too late. I hope they know that it's never too late to take control of their mental health as well.
It's amazing, Brittany, to hear you speak. I want to ask you, you talked about that shooting, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, and it's happening too often, isn't it? All over the world, innocent people being caught in the crossfire. I want to ask you about what you're worried about at the moment, because there's been other shootings since then, and there's wars in Gaza that we see, and it's tragic the horrific things that are going on all over the world, in Sudan or Ukraine or wherever it might be. I want to ask you, what kind of impact do you think all of this is having? The discussions around the climate, the work that Greta's been doing. What's that doing to our mental health, all of this?
It's a lot. I think myself at the time, my students, none of us were put onto this earth to experience that level of tragedy that we did. It was Valentine's Day of 2018. That was a day of love here. And for us to experience such dark tragedy, it's a lot. And when we look at the world today and we look at how you are still seeing these tragedies happen left and right, you turn on the news and it is so dark and it is so heavy. You go on social media, you see the same thing, and it is a lot. It is a lot for us as adults to hold on to. It is a lot for the youth that we serve to hold on to. I think about the future generation and the world that they are going to grow up in, and it's not fair. It's a lot. It's heavy. And I just feel as though we as humans were not meant to hold on to all of that. So, for me, when asked, what am I worried about? I do find that this is very heavy for our young people to hold on to, and even for us as adults. And I just hope that they can continue to find outlets in ways in which they can, yes, take this very important information that we shouldn't just ignore, but, find ways that we can make a difference, whether it is volunteering or using our voice, calling our representatives. For me, even though this tragedy has taken so much from me, and even though these tragedies are still happening, I know that I can't give up. I know that I cannot back down. I know that we deserve to live in a world where we are not losing those that we love to gun violence, war, whatever it may be. Our world deserves to be so much brighter than that. And I'm not going to stop fighting. And, it's just my hope that those around us know that this heaviness is not theirs to hold forever. It's okay to let go of that a little bit and take some time for yourself as well. We can't fight every single battle. And we do need to continue to pour into ourselves so we can get back up when we're ready again.
Wonderful. Brittany, thank you for sharing that. I want to ask you now about your work. Okay, so you tell us about everything that you're doing now, because obviously when we've heard about all the difficult things, but you're now creating opportunity, right, for it to change. Talk to us all about it.
I get really excited whenever I get to talk about Unbreakable. I always share that, I'm a first generation college student and I really didn't know too much about the nonprofit space. But as I explained a little bit about my story and the word unbreakable, it really became this mantra in my life that I held on to. And I started sharing it with others, reminding others in my life that it is okay to be broken. It's like this new idea. Really thinking back to 2018, that was such an error. I remember I was constantly seeing things like, oh, you always have to be strong, you have to be a girl boss, and, you can't show this vulnerable side. But here I was, and I was admitting that I was broken and that it's okay to be broken. And I think I really had a message there that I wanted to share. So the Unbreakable organization started at my parents' kitchen table, actually. It officially began in July of 2019, and our mission is to empower youth to take control of their mental health. And we do this through various programs. So we work with youth leaders across the U.S., here in Florida as well. They put on different initiatives throughout the year at their schools and their communities. We really just try to make mental health something that feels honestly fun and exciting and normal to talk about. And, I say fun and exciting, like I know that when it comes to mental health, there also are those heaviness, or there is that heaviness that comes from talking about mental health. But we want students to feel comfortable. We want students to feel just normal talking about it. Like, yeah, I'm having a really hard day, or, that test I was studying for took a lot out of me and I need a brain break. We want to teach students that it's okay to slow down. You don't have to keep going. You can take a moment for yourself to pause and reflect. So that's a little bit about our work. Our programs range from workshops to school programming. When we're outside of school, we do journaling sessions. We've done movement as well, like yoga, Pilates. We're just trying to get people to feel centered within themselves again and really pouring into our teachers, our students, and our community. And in addition to that, my story is rooted in tragedy, as you know. So to honor that, every year we do a scholarship for students impacted by gun violence. So this scholarship has grown from 3 recipients our very first year to today. We have granted $43,000 in scholarships to students that have been impacted by gun violence. Each student gets $1,000 and they use those funds towards their education or their mental health journeys. This program has developed so much over the years. Now we have a mentorship team. So these students are actually put into a group chat. They know one another. I've seen lifelong friendships come out of this. And something that I find really, really special about this program is for the first time, some of these survivors or those that have been impacted by gun violence can see so much of their story in someone else. It's very rare that, you're seeing these young teenagers be able to relate to someone else who lost their father to gun violence or who lost their best friend. So the fact that they can see someone else in their story and that we're able to connect them really it just means the world to us. They are the most remarkable students I've ever been able to work with, and they constantly remind me that I'm not alone in this journey. It's definitely a club or a group that none of us ever hoped or thought we would be part of, but we feel really grateful to have each other. So that's a little bit about Unbreakable and the work that we do. It's
absolutely incredible, inspirational, and coming out of why it all began, it just must feel, as you said, you get excited to talk about it, and to be able to make that kind of impact and that kind of difference, and be giving grants to people to help them on their mental health journey. Wow, how wonderful for you! You know, something so special to have come out of something so difficult.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. No, it means a lot. I think when I think back to my, 22-year-old self, like what she would think about all of this, I just think in that moment, we don't really see the light sometimes. And I even have to remind myself now that, because I'm like, oh, I wish I could tell my younger self that it's going to get better. So now today, I hope we can all remind ourselves, like, it is going to get better. I know that. I know in another 10 years from now, hopefully I'll look back and say, it will get better. So a little reminder there.
What a wonderful reminder. If people want to contact you, find out more, and be a part of it, how do they do that?
Yeah, thank you. They can visit us at theunbreakableorg.com, and we are also on Instagram at theunbreakableorg.
Brittany, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
It's been amazing talking to you.
Thank you so much.